Okay, there. Oh, that, and then record. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. And let me make sure I don't have my Facebook on. So hold on. I don't have my Facebook on. So 1 second here. I don't know where to go. I don't know why. It's not let there it is, not letting me out. There I go. Okay. Gotta turn off my Facebook. There I go. Now I'm back on track. Don't look, going back. All right, now we are. Now we're there. All right. Live on Facebook and recording now. So today, Debbie and I will be talking about ideas, and this could go on for a long time, but I'm gonna watch the timer, try to keep it under like 15 minutes about ideas about FSBOs, because FSBOs will always be out there. And you might be surprised to know that in all of the markets, no matter if it's a seller's market, buyer's market, been in the business 30 years, is that it's always been just around 5 or 6% of the market for sale by owners. And in my experience, we just got finished. I mean, I'm saying finished because I think it's turning around to more of the buyer's market soon. It's I already see it in our listings, but and I just saw it in statistics. It was like the first time in a long time that the sale prices recently have been underneath list price, not going above list price nationally. But even in the best sellers market, people still picked 94 to 95% of people picked an agent and to list their house because they saw value in that. So while you're thinking of all these things that we're going to be discussing, let's think about that. And any agent could always reach out to me. Is that is like the number one talking point I was explaining to agents when marketing for sale by owners, is that you got to fit it in there somehow that 94 to 95% of everybody in the country believes a real estate agent has value. Why, Mr. or Mrs. FSBO, do you think that is? And get your foot in the door. But all right, well, we'll start with this. All right, Deb, I will let you start and go over this slide and I'll jump in. So you take it.
Yeah, well, exactly what you just said. It's a very, very high statistic that an agent is always going to be involved in the transaction. They just don't think that way because when they're driving down the road themselves, they see the for sale signs. But overall, it is that 95% is definitely the number that I got too from my research for this year, because I do watch this stuff all the time as well. And I'm so glad that you said that we are on a turning point, because I've been telling people that now. They're all like, well, the market is slow, it's dead. It's like, we're changing right now. So now we're all going to start changing with it, right? So we want this to happen. We didn't want what was happening in the last 2 years to keep happening, because that just creates chaos in everything, especially when you're trying to figure out, is your house really worth that?
And this is the exact same thing that's happening with rates, with the market. People have short-term memories. So they just think about the rates from 6 months ago. They just think about all the houses that sold within a day, a month or two ago, and they're not used to this. And then there's agents out there, the agents, all the agents that I talk to on a daily basis going, oh, Tony, what should I do with this listing? And I had a conversation just early this morning with an agent that, like, it's been on the market 50 days and we've reduced the price twice already. What should we reduce it again? I looked at it for them. I go, no. Well, then how do we get a buyer? Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What do you mean? They just think that there's these magical things that we can do as realtors that we can market, wave our wand. It's a price, it's a place that for some, there's something there that we can do to find a buyer tomorrow. That's not always the case. Our job as realtors to keep the marketing out there and make sure we catch that buyer when they're looking. So we're getting off target here, but
we are. That'll happen though. I mean, this topic, it flows into a lot of other different topics. So we'll try and stay on track. But
right.
This I thought was a really good thing that I found because I thought it was the number one thing was that they don't want to pay commission, and that's why they're selling for sale by owner. But if you look at this chart, they sold to a friend or a neighbor actually beats that. So that's them talking to someone else. Now, did they do it correctly? Is there going to be problems down the road? Who knows? That's going to be their problem. One thing I do want to caution all agents on, because that's just kind of my thing, that's what I do, is when you're talking to people, we are real estate agents, right? So if they're not your client, but they're asking you for advice, be very careful what you're saying to them, because you don't want to get pulled into something, especially if it's a for sale by owner situation where there's no agents involved. Just be careful when you're answering questions. And you can always say, we'd be happy to help you if you want to come in and discuss, what we can do to list your property or find a buyer for you, something along those lines. But be careful when you're giving them information, because you don't want to get pulled into something. Well, my agent said this.
Right. And always make sure if you're dealing with for sale by owners, you have a buyer for that, or a for sale by owner contacts you. We see this a lot. Agents call us, hey, my friend, my family, my neighbor found their own buyer, want me to help out with the contracts. Where am I in this? Where's the agency in this? Call Debbie or me, especially home star agents, before you get into it, so we could go over and make sure you're doing the agency right and doing the paperwork right when there's just one agent involved and you're dealing with a for sale by owner. Now, to add on to what I tell agents to say, when you find a for sale by owner, or just, that exact example, someone says, hey, I found my own buyer. Now, I always suggest to the agents, especially usually it's a friend, a relative, someone they know. They go, oh, I found a buyer. Great. You want to sell the house to them? I said, it's my opinion, your ethical and professional duty to explain to them, you understand if you sell to this buyer, you might be able to get more money for your house if we put it on the market. Because sometimes we catch people, sometimes they go, no, I don't care. I go, okay. Then ask them again, does $20,000 more for your house and in your pocket, would that change your mind? Is this person you're selling to that close to you? You don't care about giving money. How this happens, and I know it's happened out there, but no agents have gotten in trouble for it. Not in trouble with the people mad at them for it, that at least I know, is that imagine a buyer someone comes to your friend, relative, neighbor, go, hey, I found my own buyer, help me with paperwork here, selling the house for 200, and go, listen, it's not on the market. What happens if you have another neighbor that would have paid you 220,000? We won't know that until it's sold, but it happens in every neighborhood. As soon as a house is sold and it was never on the market, it's never on anything, and the people sell it. And then next, another neighbor is going, oh my God, I wanted my daughter to live down the street from me. We would have paid you way more for that house if you just put it on the market. We knew it was on the market. Some people just think your house value is like, this is what I think my house is valued as, and they won't sell it for more. Obviously, we just got through a market like that. So the point I was getting at with that is, one of the things when marketing for sale by owners is that if they sell the house themselves and do their limited amount of marketing that they do, they will never know if they got the highest price for your house. Even if you sell your house in a day, like example, all the people that sold in a day, I told this to agents many, many times, you sold it in a day. How do you know that was the highest price? Well, my seller was happy with that. I go, yeah, but you never kept it out there. It's kind of like an auction. An auction doesn't have an auction in one day, like, oop, hey, advertise auction today. They let it advertise for a while so they get everybody ready and then accept bids. This is how real estate should be too, in my opinion. So
I agree with that. Yep, I definitely do.
So these are the types of things that you should say to, again, Debbie and I could help you with the whole for sale by owner presentation, right, Deb? We got a good one in our toolkit, CMA listing presentations. There's one specifically customized for sale by owners that goes over some of this.
Yep.
So I'll move on, and you could take the next slide here, Deb.
So here's a couple of those pointers about the for sale by owner things, though, is watch your area, and if you don't see for sale by owners in your area, but you're driving around in another neighborhood and you see them there, then keep going back to that neighborhood. Go back there more 5 or 6 weeks in a row, or however long it takes, because what you're doing is you're going to stop at that for sale by owner's house, right? And you're going to say, hey, I saw that your house is for sale, or maybe they're not there. Write down their phone number, do your research, go on the county auditor, go on your MLS and see if it was ever listed before. Get as much data about that house as you possibly can, so that when you are talking to them, you know what you're talking about, and you can kind of tell if the seller is on target with what they're doing, or if they're not, and if they're even going to need something. Some sellers can do it by themselves, but they're just a little tiny minority. And most of the time it's probably because they've sold a house before, or that they were an agent before, or they have a family member who has told them how to do it. Because they were an agent, which we shouldn't be doing, but you never know. People do that.
And then
So
also
watch the house over and over again. Go ahead.
And then, yeah, no, exactly that. And if it's in your area and you stop by, now there's other agents marketing to for sale by owners too. There's not as many as you think they are. There's
That's
not
true.
Hundreds. There's some, but if you actually stop by the house, it puts you ahead of all those agents that are automatically mailing things to them or calling them. They see that you're in the market. So that's one of the reasons why you pick a market and you actually go into that market, and then they see you there. You were there. You could have marketing material about that. Also, I'm a big, this is a kind of a hot topic with marketing for sale by owners. I'm big with a pre-listing presentation, not just a listing presentation when they ask for it, is dropping them off information. So without them even asking about a presentation. Today's day, some agents don't want to mail a big presentation. It doesn't have to be all in color. It could be in black and white. Cost you a couple dollars or more to print, but have it something that they can keep in their house. So if they don't sell their house, they have your nice presentation compared to some postcards or letters from other agents that they're getting in the mail. So that's just an idea. And you obviously can't do that everywhere, but if you pick an area like this, you can.
Right. Yep. And this is what I was talking about before, with making sure that you know what the seller's name is, so you're addressing them correctly, looking at their history, if they listed, or assessing the property tax record, so that you know the information about the house. When you do get a hold of them, whether it's on the phone or in person, ask to see if you can view the house, because you have buyers. We all have buyers. There's buyers out there everywhere, right? Maybe we can find a buyer for them. And some agents even get into the habit of having things available so that they can drop them off to the seller. And this goes back to the consecutively being seen all the time, right? So maybe the first time you talk to them, you find out about the house, you start creating a conversation with the seller, why are you moving? What's your history here with the house? Create a dialogue, make a friend, if anything, and just tell them while you're there, because there are a lot of them, the first thing they're going to say is, I don't want to list with an agent. That's totally fine. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to see your house, because we need to find houses for our buyers.
Right. And one of the talking points I say all the time is you can work it into the conversations that, no, I hope you are successful in selling your house at the highest price and ease for you, and you're happy and the buyers are happy. But the reason why I'm talking to you, I want to be your first option if you ever choose to. So I'm not trying to convince you, if they're totally convinced, I don't want to talk to any agent. Well, great. That's fine. I just want to give you my information. So if you need my help, what can I do? What can I give you to help, and that's kind of goes to some of the next slides. What
Yep.
information can I give you to help you? And this is another hot topic with realtors, is like, should we be helping for sale by owners sell themselves and give them information? I say yes, because the whole point is, even though you give them this information that we're going to talk about, and let Deb go over this, is that if you put in the doubt, that it still comes down to marketing. And if you're not hitting all the buyers out there, or possible buyers out there, you'll never 100% know if you got the highest price. So you connect with their greed.
Right. So
So
when
go
you're going
ahead.
back and talking to that seller like once a week, maybe you're giving them a little tidbit of, oh, these are the listings that are in your neighborhood, oh, you know what? These are the ones that sold, but don't do it all at once, right? You don't want to give them all the information. You're giving them tidbits. Here's the listings that were sold. I just thought you might like this information. That title companies do have a for sale by owner packet. You can ask the title company to give you one. Why is this a good thing? Because it's got all the stuff in there that they would need with their property disclosures and such like that, and title information, because a lot of times they don't know what their fees are going to be. They don't have any idea because they haven't never talked to an agent. We know what the fees are
I
that are
did
going to be involved with the closing. They don't.
every title company, if someone calls them, go, I'm selling my house myself, can you help me? They will. So in theory, some title companies are kind of competition with us. If someone calls it, they'll give them most title companies that I know of will give them purchase agreements that their attorneys have set. They'll give them things that they need to do to sell their house, and dance on the line of helping them. So talk to your title person. I remember vividly years ago, gosh, it's 20 some years ago. I remember, there was a very highly popular title company that a lot of agents used in our market. And I remember in a newspaper, and then they put a billboard out at one time, marketing to for sale by owner, saying, we have for sale by owner documents, help you sell your house yourself. And it totally killed their business. I remember, back in the day, we used to meet with real estate agents, and more often at classes and events and things, and we were all talking about how could a title company that we give business to try to take business away from us as realtors. And it shot them right in the foot. They're like, oh my God, now all the agents giving a business, they're like, we're trying to convince people not to use an agent.
Yeah.
So just wanted to let
Right.
you know that people there, and maybe it's a possibility if you do business with a certain number of title companies, maybe you ask them, if you get any of these, can I be the realtor of choice if you ever get any of these? And most of them will say we don't get that many, but any major title company probably gets a few, or I couldn't give you a number, but I'm sure they're getting some out there. So
Yeah,
anything more
definitely.
on this one, Deb?
Yep. Just a reminder, one thing at a time. You want to have a reason to come back and see them again. And also make sure that you have your listing packet in your car, because you never know. They might say the second time that you came through, and you're walking your dog in the neighborhood and you see them out in the yard or whatever it is, or you're driving down the road to, oh, I just came from another showing down the street, or whatever it is. And they say, gosh, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. What would it take for me to be able to work with you? Have your stuff available. And the pre-listing thing, that's not on here, but that's perfect. What you were talking about, the pre-listing thing,
But you already got that. Yeah, be prepared.
definitely.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
because, and make sure that when you are talking to them, if they say, well, I can't talk to you right now, try and pinpoint a time when they can sit down and talk to you. Great, I'm available either 6 p.m. on Thursday or 10 a.m. on Saturday. Give them a choice. Don't let them say, I will call you. You want to be a little bit aggressive in this situation and try and get them to pinpoint a time. If you sit down and talk to them and show them your listing presentation and stuff, you probably can talk them into working with you. It doesn't matter what broker you're with. If you sit down and take the time to talk to the people, they will probably work with you.
Definitely. And also a good service that does a lot of this work for you too is the Red X. It's been around forever. So it's www.thered, the spelled out X, the letter X.com. Should be that.
Yeah.
Still. And they, for a fee, will show you the a monthly fee, what for sale by owners are in the market at that time. You know, they'll cross-reference them with the MLS to see how many times, how long they've been online on the market, or if they ever been listed before, price changes. They run them through the do not call list. So if anybody is really going to consistently do for sale by owners, that's the Red X is definitely the way to go to keep up to date with what's going on there. So, and then last for today, or second to last, I know there's one more slide. Why don't you tell them about our CE coming up?
Okay, so in September, Mike Ferrante has his Zoom, and it's Be a Rockstar Agent. So I can tell you that I took this class for Mike a couple years ago when he started it. He's giving you secrets, guys. So you definitely want to go to this one if you can. Plus you get 2 hours of CEU credit. Hash has October 5th, he's doing core law. So all you all who have to get your core classes in, core law is October 5th with Hash. That's going to be on his, is it ce.net?
Ohio CE.
OhioCE.net. Yeah.
Yes. Ohio
and that's his website.
net. And then last, it is.
All right, so our little spark your business thing, it's almost apple cider season. So you can give apples or maybe a little thing of cider or just a little thing like this to get people to remember you. Remember sending out those things on social media. It doesn't cost any money. It just takes a little bit of your time to make the graphic. Or if you buy these tags, you can buy tags and make things on your own. The tags are like cheap. If you're not that creative and stuff, you can go to this front porch portraits at Etsy. That's why I have it down there, because they do a ton. They do a ton of tags. You can buy them already made. So it's my little kudos to you from Etsy, because they're the one that I get all these things from. So again, it's getting your name out there and asking for referrals, and you want to hit your sphere, right?
Exactly, something to give them. And if you're in the Cleveland area, or even just say anywhere in Ohio in a major city, I'm sure there is a fruit farm around you too.
Yeah.
Don't have to pay top dollar for them at your expensive grocery store down the street and take all their apples. You could go right to the source and buy a lot of apples at a cheaper rate, and even baskets or anything like that. And it's a good pop by thing that you can do.
Absolutely. Popeyes.
Well, good. Well, that's it. We went over 15 minutes like that, but it's all right. But hey, anybody out there, Special Central Twin Homestar agents, reach out to Debbie or myself. We'll be happy to set some time up to go over a listing presentation or specified, especially for sale by owner. So just reach out to us. So hopefully this give you some information and some things to think about with marketing for sale by owner. So that's it. Well, thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Everyone have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Deb. Bye-bye.
Bye.